Hi everyone, my name is Felix, and a couple of days ago, the Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriage is now the law of the land, and in all 50 states, it is now legal. One day, this will be in the history books, and I want to be able to remember it. I was not born for, obviously, most of the gay rights movement, but I would like to say that I at least experienced some of it. You can't say certain things or you can't act a certain way without being called some kind of slur or name. The more people came out of the closet, the more personal it became for people. I'm not just fighting for like an idea of gay rights. I'm fighting for my brother or my sister or my cousin or my friend. But once you kind of know somebody, it kind of becomes your fight. I'm hoping that this opens up a discussion for everyone to be having. I guess at the bottom line, for a lot of people, and I guess even for me, it's like, it's everything. It signifies that the nation is at a point that it is accepted. You knew eventually one day it was gonna happen, and that every state, I mean, especially at least the past like 5 or so years, it's like just keeping up with it. It was like state after state was just rounding them off, like okay this one accepted, okay this one accepted, okay you can get married here. And so it was like only a matter of time. But I think once it finally happened, and it was just hearing that it was all 50 states and it was nationwide, changed basically everything. It was like it no longer was like a fight anymore. It's like we won the fight. And I remember just reading it and being like, oh my god, like it happened and it's done. Like that was one of like the coolest feelings, just thinking like finally like people get it. People as a majority are accepting enough to be able to do a 4-5 ruling for legalizing gay marriage nationwide. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, our nation is more progressive and more enlightened and more accepting than we were if you rewind even just 5 years ago. And like I said, I think it's becoming more accepting and it's becoming more normalized because for a lot of people it's becoming personal. Because the more accepting we are, the more comfortable people feel about coming out of the closet. And the more people we have advocating for it, and the more, then in turn, the more progressive the nation becomes. Because for a lot of people, like I said, it was like a non-issue for a long time. It just kind of became something that happened. Okay, gay people are denied certain rights, but it wasn't an issue for them. I never understood how somebody could be denied rights for a way that they were born. I never understood why people got to vote on which rights I deserved. The fact that people were able to vote on it, it made me, I guess, in a way, it made me angry. And I mean, but I was what, a 15-year-old kid? There was nothing I could do about it. I just had to sit back and let the ruling take place and see what the nation decided that I deserved. I can guarantee if I was the person that I am now, rewind 10 years, I would be on the steps of Washington fighting for it. But as a kid, and I feel like that's what is the most like horrible part of it, is that these kids that are in the closet trying to accept themselves can't do anything about it. Which I don't think that somebody that young should feel that way and should feel like these people are going to decide my future. It's like we had these people that were telling us that we couldn't be a certain way or that we couldn't say certain things. Our standpoint at least comes from a place of like love. We don't want anything more than just to be accepted. I think what they fear is that they're going to be treated the exact same way that they treated us for so long. People wonder why we celebrate it so much. I think when it comes down to it, it's like We celebrate it because we need to. I think growing up being gay, it's like you find a way to blame it on somebody, whether that be somebody in your life or you just end up blaming yourself. It was never like a question of like if it was a thing. It was a matter of like, how big of a part of my life is this going to be? It was like, am I going to choose to acknowledge this, or am I just going to keep it in the back of my head all the time? I guess the only thing I can really relate it to is like being pregnant, where it was like, obviously at some point you're going to have to tell people, but it's like, it's just a matter of when that's going to happen, because it's this thing that's kind of becoming a bigger and bigger part of your life. At first it's kind of like this little part that's just kind of like in you, that it's just kind of like you don't have to acknowledge if you don't want to, but the farther along you get, the more you're going to have to acknowledge it, and the more it kind of becomes a part of you. So it's hard to go and accept that when everything surrounding it is negative. I think that's why this marriage equality ruling is such a big thing. The fact that you can open up basically any social media website today and see all this positivity and people changing their profile pictures to like pictures of rainbows and everybody talking about it in such a positive light, it just like warms your heart to see how much of a change has happened in such a short amount of time.